Hola, I'm just making this video because I went on Zoom yesterday and explained this a little bit to everyone who was on Zoom, but there were some students asking me if I could do this because they were not able to make the Zoom meeting. So this week we learned about colors and clothing and expressions in Spanish that use the verb tener, which means to have, and also stem changing verbs. So first of all, just want to go to Google Classroom, and under the classwork tab, you should have watched these 5 videos that have to do with clothing, colors, animals, which is kind of cool to learn that, and then the tener expressions and just different shopping types of words and vocab. Now, going back to the tener expressions, just so you guys know, with tener expressions, there are phrases that you use the verb tener with in Spanish that, even though tener means to have, we wouldn't say it the same way in English. For example, in English, we would say, we are hungry. But in Spanish, they would not say we are hungry, they would say we have hunger. So if you notice here, tenemos hambre, tenemos means we have, and hambre means hunger. So technically it says we have hunger, but in English, since we don't say it that way, we would just say that tenemos hambre means we are hungry. So just make sure you understand that. That's why they're called tener expressions, because they're expressions in which the verb tener is used, even though it does not translate the same way in English. Some other ones that use tener are to be thirsty, to be hot, to be cold, to be lucky, to be in a hurry, to be right. Those are expressions in which, just like when you express age in Spanish, they use the verb tener. Even though in English we don't say it that way. We don't say the word have in those expressions. We don't say, I have thirst. We usually say, I'm thirsty. We don't say, I have luck. We usually say, I'm lucky. We don't say, I have hurry. We'd say, I'm in a hurry. So we just say them a little differently. So please review these 5 videos. So watch these 5 videos, take notes. Um, these 5 videos are going to teach you a lot of things that are important to know the language, and especially if you're going into Spanish 2 and you want to be prepared, you're going to want to know this stuff, as well as the stem changing verbs. So I posted 4 videos that will help you learn stem changing verbs, and one thing that you can read here. So there's 4 videos and then one website you can read that will help you learn about stem changing verbs, but I'm also going to go over it today on this video to help you as well. After you watch the 5 videos up here and the 4 stem changing videos, which makes 9 videos, you'll then do these 5 quizzes, because there's 5 of them, because some of them practice colors and clothing, some practice tener expressions, and some practice the different stem changing verbs. You are able to redo these if you did not get a good score as many times as you want, and I will take your best score on each of those 5. So you can do them as many times as you need to, and they're not due until 3 p.m. on Sunday. So I have it set up so that I see your highest score on each one. So again, if you did not score so well, please retake it. And then there was also a Cinco de Mayo video, which was only 1 minute and 19 seconds long, but it was really good because it taught you about Cinco de Mayo. And a lot of people confuse Cinco de Mayo with Mexico's Independence Day. Mexico's Independence Day is actually September 16th. That's when they gained independence. However, Cinco de Mayo, a lot of people think is Independence Day. It's not. It's obviously representative of May 5th. And on May 5th in 1861, the smaller Mexican army defeated a larger French army in the Battle of Puebla. So in this war going on, there was one battle in Puebla, a town in Mexico, Puebla, Mexico, and the underdogs, which were the Mexican army, defeated the French army. So since they were victorious on May 5th, it signified just some pride in the fact that the underdogs won. And honestly, Cinco de Mayo is not really celebrated in Mexico, besides in that area in which the battle took place, which was in Puebla. So just wanted you to watch that video and read about that so that you knew Cinco de Mayo was this. The significance of that is when a battle ended and Mexico defeated the French army. Mexican army defeated the French army on that date. It is not their Independence Day, though. Now, going to stem changing verbs, which is what I had told you about that I want to go over. There's three main types of stem changing verbs, and those are E to IE, which is right here, O to UE, which is right here, and E to I, which is right here. There's only one verb in Spanish where the U is going to change to UE, and that's the verb jugar. Jugar means to play, like to play a sport or to play a game. And if you notice the U that's in red right here, it's in the stem. Remember, the stem of the verb is everything in front of the AR or ER or IR ending. So in front of the AR, ER, IR, that's called the stem. So the stem of jugar is JUG, who. However, inside this boot, if you can see this little kind of, it looks like a boot right here, they call these boot verbs because if you look at all four of these charts, they all have a boot. And inside the boot, the stem changes. So the stem is normally J-U-G, hug. But inside the stem, inside the boot here, the U changes to U-E. Notice it's U-E here. So it's juego, juegas, juega, juegan. However, outside the boot, so the nosotros and the vosotros forms, these ones do not stem change. So they do not change to UE. They remain as just U. So it's not jueg, it's jug. It's just normal. Jugamos and jugais. Those are normal. So outside of the boot, the nosotros and the vosotros do not stem change. The stem just stays normal, J-U-G. But on the four forms that are inside the boot, the yo form, the tu form, the el, ella, usted form, and the ellos, ellas, ustedes form, these four forms that look like a boot, they do stem change. And jugar is the only verb that's the U changing to UE. Now, E changing to IE, there's lots of verbs in Spanish that do this. In order to know which ones do this, there's no rhyme or reason to it. You just have to memorize which ones are. So really, it's just going to take time in reading and speaking and listening to the language. And over time, you'll see which ones, and you'll start to remember which ones are E to IE. The only other way is just to memorize the list of all the ones that are E to IE. So it's not like every verb in Spanish that has an E in the stem is going to change to IE. It's only certain ones, okay? Entender, which means to understand, is one of the verbs where the stem is going to change from an E to an IE. There's two E's in the stem because the stem is this right here, the stuff in front of the ER. And notice there's two E's in the stem. You'll never change the first E if there's two. You'll just change the second E if there's two. So if there's ever two E's in the stem, you just change the second one. It would look funny to change the first one anyway. So notice instead of an E inside the boot, it's IE. So instead of entend, it's entiend for the stem. And then outside the boot, which is the nosotros and the vosotros forms, they don't stem change. So the E just stays as an E, so the stem is just entend. Now notice with jugar, we put o, as, a, amos, ais, an because it was an AR verb. But now this one is an ER verb, so you have to be careful to make sure you see which ending the verb is so that you put on the correct endings. So instead of the AR endings, you're going to put on the ER endings. O, es, e, hemos, es, en. So it's entiendo, entiendes, entiende, entendemos, entendéis, entienden. The other stem changing verb, O to UE, there are, again, a list of verbs in Spanish where the O will change to OE. It's not every verb that has an O is going to change to OE. You just have to memorize the list or just remember it from hearing and seeing it so many times. Again, inside the boot, these four forms here, the O changes to UE. So instead of pod for the stem, like it is on the nosotros and the vosotros because they're normal, it's going to change to pued, puedo, puedes, puede, pueden. And if you notice, poder means to be able to, like to be able to do something or can do something. Remember, puedo ir al baño, can I go to the bathroom? So this is the yo form, so it's I can. And when it's in a question, puedo ir al baño, it's can I go to the bathroom? And then just don't forget the outside of the boot, the nosotros and the vosotros don't change stems. So podemos and podes. And again, that's an ER verb, so again, the ER endings are on it. Here's an IR verb, pedir. Pedir means to order or to ask for something. So it's an IR verb. So instead of the AR or the ER endings, they put on the IR verb endings. O, es, e, imos, is, en. And this one is an E to I, not an E to IE like this first one, but an E to I. There are another set of verbs in Spanish where the E is going to change to an I. Again, you just have to memorize which ones. This is the least common one, E to I. That's the least common. There's not as many. So anyways, you'll notice inside the boot, the E changes to an I. So instead of PED, which is paid, like it is on the outside of the boot, paid, paid, pedimos, pedis, it changes to an I. So the I makes the E sound in Spanish. So be pid, pido, pides, pide, piden. So just make sure you notice that inside the boot, the E changes to an I, but outside it stays normal. The normal stem is paid, P-E-D. All right, hopefully that helps. If you have any other questions, please feel free to email me and I will be happy to explain it a little more. And good luck. And please make sure that you redo your quizzes assignments if you scored low. And hasta luego. See you later.